Hey guys, welcome to Ice Hockey Aussies Power Rankings Week 9. And here to get us started is myself with pick 32. Started off with an easy one, no change this week. Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, I've got the same. It's pretty hard not to have them at 32. Down one for me.
Yeah, you finally joined the party. I was wondering how long it would take.
Finally joined the bandwagon. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, well, when Anaheim wins a couple games, and you don't win any games for since you won the cup, as we are just discussing, basically. You're just not getting any scoring. 5 goals out of three in 3 games. It's what less than 2 goals a game. Yeah, it's just not looking good. I guess it's looking good for them because it's what they want, but it's not looking good. So yeah, 32.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, they got one win in their last 15 games. It's, yeah, it's bleak for them, but I mean, if you didn't expect this as a Chicago fan, I'm not sure what you were expecting.
Oh,
Um,
I think when you see the Seth Jones trade, you're like, yay, we might be going for it. And then, no, what's happening? So,
yeah,
sad times.
no, it
Bad
is, but
mismanagement.
you know what? Hey, if they land a top three pick in this year's draft, that could do wonders for their rebuild. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's obviously it sucks being down the bottom, but at the end of the day, they had a phenomenal run. They win. What they win? They won three cups. Um,
Oh yeah, they've they've
like it's
they've had a good run. Um, like yeah, what cup in the last 10 years or whatever. You can't piss that off, So it was due. It happens. Now they're just going to do that rebuild. Um, on to my 31. Uh, not changing for you. It's the Anaheim Ducks.
oh, it's bold of you to assume that I've got the Anaheim Ducks there,
Well, like
but
where you had them last week. That's what I meant. Sorry.
yeah, no, I've got the Anaheim Ducks there. I contemplated. They had a really good week, 2 wins. That's
Yeah.
huge, and not to mention their second regulation win. Um,
Get around it. They've done
yeah,
it.
get around them
Yeah, it's
straight up to first.
it's interesting that you go 0-10 in goal differential in the first 2 games, but then you get 2 wins in the next two. Though Edmonton did
Yes,
did outshoot them completely. Um, but no, it's good. It's good that they get the 2 wins. It's good that they're putting Montreal and Edmonton in their places where they probably belong with how they've been playing recently. So no, happy for them. Still would like them to be bad just so they get the picks, but yeah, good on them.
yeah. Well, I think sort of what you want though as a bottom feeding team is just to see some life in your games and getting a couple of results where you're like, okay, our fans can be happy. They've seen us win a few games,
Mm.
and now we can go on a losing streak again. Um, I can't remember who I was watching, but someone said that as a Ducks fan, you don't need to watch all the games. Just keep up to date with what's happening. Come back, after Christmas, after the All Star break, check on your team, see how they're doing,
Yeah.
see who's developing well. It's not a year to really be,
Well, nah, they're
watching
they're they're
every
they're in a
single
rebuild.
game.
Their GM's got like speculation visiting a couple Edmonton games that they might be looking at Jesse Puljujarvi and maybe another
Yeah,
player from Edmonton. So doing a trade like that, and it wouldn't be a bad trade for them. Getting a young player probably needs more ice time, get more development under him, and see
change of
what he can
scenery.
turn, and just different scenery. Probably it would be really good for him, I think, because he has been pretty horrible for the Oilers this year, and they've been trying to get rid of that three
Yeah,
million contract. So it's a perfect fit. See what they can get for him because his value is low. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what they do between now and the deadline. Uh,
yeah. I feel like the Ducks are a team that can turn it around quickly if they can get the
yep.
right pieces. So, yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see
All
how they do it, how they run.
all right. Your pick
Um,
30.
I picked 30 for me. Uh, Yeah, no change again. My top three, pretty much, bottom three stays the same. It's Columbus Blue Jackets. Um,
I,
I really did want to move them down, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah, I wanted to do the
just
same, but I think the other two are just been that bad. It's really hard to.
yeah, agreed. Um, it was tough, but it just I don't know. I don't know what to make of anything they're doing at the moment. They're getting blown out of games. That 4-0 loss against Florida. Um, they get an OT win against the Kings, but I don't know. I know they had a tough week. They obviously played Boston, Tampa, Florida, but I don't feel like they're in those games.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
the problem is they have no center. That's the problem. They need like a 1 and 2 center. So they should be one of those teams that are like looking at buying like a center that's somewhat on the market. I don't know who you'd be looking at. Yeah, maybe you try and go to like a San Jose, get one of their centers. Um, maybe like a I think Pierre Luc Dubois is a center from memory. Maybe try get that. You, yeah,
yeah,
they need a center, and that's the problem. You got two amazing wingers, but we all know like goalie and centers are the bigger position. Um, and that's what they
boy,
need. So
Dubois. That's the thing.
until they get that, I think they'll be down here until they get do a
Yeah.
trade and get that center.
I mean, I guess for them, I don't think they're going to do the trade. I honestly think they'll just wait out. If they're going to have a bad year and they're going to
Yeah,
potentially get Connor Bedard,
yeah.
why wouldn't you
It's
hold
rough.
off?
You're rough. You waste another year on Goodyear on line A, but I guess that's the situation they're in now.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
already.
It's a bad situation.
Yeah, basically. My pick. So pick 29. I have Philadelphia Flyers moving down one position.
Making a drop. Um, well, I'm
Yeah.
actually surprised because I was thinking that you'd have your the bane of your existence. Yeah,
they're
oh,
not,
but
they're not the bane
um,
of my existence. It's just I hate I don't like the defensive work of Eric Carlson, but yes. Um, no, I
uh,
feel like they've earned this spot. Um, it's just not been great. I don't like the way they've been going about it. I don't even the coach hasn't really been liking the way they're going about it. They've healthy scratched Hayes. They've healthy scratched another one of their key players because they're not playing their part defensively. And I think they're just in that part where it's probably the rest of what they have is probably going to fall apart for that rebuild to kick in. So yeah,
yeah, I mean, I don't really know. Funny, Kevin Hayes getting healthy scratched as their leading point scorer, but that's what Torts does. He keeps people accountable, and I
mm,
think that's what a few people don't like about him.
yeah,
Is that he keeps people accountable, and it's like, well, no, he's not going to let you just sit at the blue line, um, you know, waiting for that breakout pass so that you can start the attack and being really sloppy getting back to help defend. Like he's going to keep you accountable on that front. Um, but honestly, I don't know what else they really expected from this year. Um, I don't think they've got the team to do it. Um, it's a very ordinary roster at the moment. And I think they're sort of caught in two
yeah,
worlds.
yeah,
Their players are too old to keep around for a rebuild, but they're not old enough
yeah.
that you could
They're
just
in a
start
situation New
fire
Jersey
sailing.
were in 6 years ago with Corey Schneider. Corey Hart still in the game against New Jersey. That's what Corey Schneider was doing years ago, but there's just nothing in front of him, and they probably I feel like they're going to waste the years on Carter Hart on Hart. So it's yeah, it's worrying signs. But I guess
I
we're
mean, what do you do if your heart?
yeah,
Do you ask for a trade?
I would because I know what will happen to Snyder, so Corey Schneider. So that's what I'd
Yeah.
be afraid of. Um, anyway, on to your
All
29,
right.
which I'm guessing it's the boys we were just talking
29.
about.
It is the boys that we were talking about. It's the San Jose Sharks. They had a bad week. I could have moved them ahead of Philly. Yeah, I just had to keep them where they were.
Yeah,
They only played the 2 games,
yeah. 3 out
so
of 4 points. So it was one of them against Arizona. Um, so you'd expect them to competing and win against that. Yeah, I get that.
well, nothing really more to say on those guys though. I think
No,
they're just
I think I've bagged Eric Carlson enough for this season. He'll probably
yeah,
end up winning the
yeah,
Norris, and I'll probably just scream in a pillow. But yeah, that would be the way it goes.
yeah, can definitely see that for sure.
Alrighty. My pick 27. Another team we just talked about is Arizona Coyotes.
Yep. Yeah, agree with you on that front. I've got them there as well.
Yeah. They've just been chugging along. Uh, Fighting every game. It's amazing that they're not boring to watch. Get an OT win against Philly, like we said, lose to San Jose, but then they beat the Islanders, which was honestly a
Big
big
win.
loss for the Islanders, and that's a big win. So that's the team they've been this season. Is that every now and then they'll just pop up and steal a game from a team that shouldn't be dropping that game.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just liking the fight that I'm seeing from them. The thing I like is I like looking at the standings and seeing them 29th. I enjoy that because I'm like, okay, I love the fact that you're playing well, but I also want you to suck because I want you to get a top 3 pick this year because I want you guys to try and make something of
Mm.
this franchise if you can
Yeah,
before times,
put something
you
around
know.
Clayton Keller. Keller's playing amazing.
Yep.
A couple of the players are honestly playing amazing. Vermelka
Hmm.
can every now
Lawson Krause,
yeah,
he's
Vermelka
yeah.
can every now and then steal a game. I feel like he was a key reason um, they lost one of the games this week. I'm actually struggling to figure out which one it is. Maybe it was the Buffalo one. I think it was the Buffalo one actually. No, it was. Yeah, it was the Buffalo probably. He just letting in a couple weak goals, which was I guess that's what you get from that type of goalie. But then next game he'll go and just block everything no matter what it is. But
Very
mm,
inconsistent. But,
yeah, inconsistent.
you
But
gotta enjoy what they're putting up. Um, it could have been a lot worse.
mm,
So yeah.
alrighty. So far so good. We'll look like we're matching each other. On to your 26.
Mhm. Oh, sorry. My 26. Yeah. So a team that I mean, you might have moved on them already. I feel like we could be moving on these guys soon. They are 6-4 in their last 10, but they stay still for me this week. It's the Vancouver Canucks.
Ooh. Um.
Mm.
Okay. I've
Um,
got them at 24, which I think is still where I had them last time.
Last week, yeah, yeah. I had a feeling that you would, you were higher on them, and you probably would stay high on them.
Don't think it's high on them in the sense that it's two teams that I've had move below them that may or
Yeah,
may not surprise you. So
I don't think they're going to surprise me. I think I know who you're thinking of.
yeah.
And I contemplated those 2 teams as well because I think we're just going to swap 1 or 2 positions for those teams, to be
Mm,
honest. I really did contemplate moving Vancouver up, but I think I just want to see them do it again. I don't want to go too early on them. I don't want to start moving them up the ladder and then they just crumble
yeah.
and lose 8 straight. The
But
loss today
yeah.
was pretty poor.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how they've been. It was against the Jets, but they win. It's a shootout win, which is basically a draw, and it was against Calgary, and like Calgary hasn't been too great. Like I think they went 0-3 this weekend, this week. So it it's hard to see how valuable or big that win was. If it's a shootout win, so how big that draw is. So they don't move for me. I have to see more next week. Alrighty, my pick. It's my number 26. This might be an interesting one because I'm a bit low on them. It's the Nashville Predators.
Nah, it's not surprising.
Not surprising.
I think
I
nah,
don't think
not at all.
you might do it like as big as I did just because of where you have them. Like you had them 3 positions higher to me last week. So
I actually went harder in the drop, -7 for me.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I did contemplate 25 and 26. So I was swap and changing back and forth a fair bit, to be honest, with this one. They've just been very ordinary. I'm pretty sure they've lost 5 or 6 straight now.
yeah,
Um, they started to look like they were they were coming up, and
yeah.
they've just
What made it
hit a
hard?
brick wall.
Yeah, exactly. What it made hard for me was the two OT losses this week. Jets and the Blues. OT losses are kind of draws. So,
Mm.
but when you don't get any wins, it makes it even harder. They got beat by the Oilers, and then they go and lose to the Avs, which is still a downed Avs. Um, so yeah, I had to drop them. Clearly, you dropped them a little bit more than me, but yeah, I just had them have Vancouver a little bit above them.
Nah, nah, fair,
All
definitely
right,
fair. If they keep that trend, Vancouver will definitely be above them
all right.
for me.
You're
All
25.
right, 25. I got a feeling this is going to be your 25 as well. They just keep sliding for me, but it's not bad for where they are. I think they're in a rebuild, and they're going to be around here for probably the next year or two. It's Montreal Canadiens.
Yep, that's the one. Good call.
Yeah, I like that's. I think the last couple of weeks they've been dropping, even though they've had pretty even weeks. It's just teams around them have been better. But this week they were quite poor. They deserve the drop this week. Um, but again, like I said, it's not a bad thing. They're not expected to be making playoffs and doing anything spectacular this year. So yeah, they may as well drop, or just focus on the development of their younger players,
Mm,
um, and then try and add some pieces in the off
yeah,
season
they got to add something around that
draft.
first line. Like they've really only got that one line at the moment. Um,
Exactly.
a couple bad contracts on the team that they can try and move here or there, but yeah, they just need to add some depth around them, which they can do through the draft, which would be alright. But this is kind of where people thought they would be, maybe even lower,
Mhm.
um, before the season. And they've just been slipping every week, one or two positions. So we'll see where they go next week. Alrighty,
Exactly.
my 23. I have another Canadian team, the Calgary Flames.
Oh, yeah.
So also
I
moving
couldn't
down to
believe
two
they were
positions.
3-0, 0-3 this week, to be honest. I
Yeah,
just it sort of caught up on me. Like I watched I watched the replays of their games, and I watched them lose, but I didn't really remember that they had lost all three.
well, that's hard because they got two shootout losses. So they draw against Montreal and they draw against Vancouver. The Canadian rivalries, but Montreal haven't been great and Vancouver haven't been great as we've touched on. So it's hard to see where like those draws are probably they should be around where those teams are, and then they get
They
defeated.
should be winning
Yeah. Oh yeah,
all 3 games this week. They should be winning if they're
100%.
expected to be a playoff team.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
So
And it's
yeah.
yeah, I hitting the panic button for that team. I'm not too sure what you do because I like their off season on their moves for the
Hmm.
situation that they were given. So
Yeah.
I don't know what button you press if it's coaching or whatnot, but you got to hit a panic button now.
Well, it's very strange, isn't it? Because, like, you know, they lose Goudreau, they lose Kachuk, and everyone panics and everyone's like, oh, shit, things are getting bad. But then they bring in the Kachuk trade, Huberdeau and Uyghur, and everyone's like, oh, that's. Then they bring in Nazem Kadri, and it's like, cool. Okay. Okay. We
Mm,
just replaced Kachuk and Goudreau with Nazem Kadri, and Jonathan Huberdeau, and we put Mackenzie Weegar on our D line.
mhm.
Our team doesn't actually drop too badly. It actually stays pretty steady. We were in the playoffs last year, so yeah, I don't know. I think it's
You have to be
definitely a
looking at
surprise.
coaching, don't you? That'd be the
Well, yeah, it's got to be something, right? Like, is it just the fact that Huberdeau? Kadri and that just haven't clicked yet. I mean,
Mm,
Kadri's got 22 points in the year, Huberdeau's 18 points. Even though that's like top for the Flames this year, you'd still say that's kind of underperforming for both of them. Um, yeah, I don't know. You'd have to look at something. There's
yeah,
got to be a system change or something there. Um, but they'd want to get on it fast because yeah, you don't want this season to get away from you.
yeah, I agree. Alrighty, on to your next pick.
Right. All right, my pick 22. Um, a team that I can't quite make heads or tails of. They're good one week, bad the next. They've been like that this whole season. St. Louis Blues.
Alrighty, I've got them at 21.
Ooh,
Just
just
one,
going
just
up.
one above. They move up 5 positions for me actually,
Ooh,
and
5 positions.
and it's just because how lower I was them last week, and it's not really credit in regards to them. Like they go 3-1, but it's just other teams around them as well. It's like even their wins, like OT loss against Colorado, OT win against Nashville, then they go shootout win against Edmonton, and then they beat Calgary, who we just talked about. So it's a lot of overtimes. Like I get it, they're in the games, but I feel like they should be beating Nashville. They should probably even be beating Edmonton, really. Um, so
Yeah, it's I don't
in
know what to
regulation,
make
I
of.
mean. So it's really hard to make what that team is.
Yeah, I've got no idea about St. Louis. St. Louis is probably in the same boat as Calgary for me. I just look at it and go, probably expected. Don't get me wrong, for St. Louis, being in the Central with Dallas and Winnipeg playing as well as they are, um, and then having to compete against Minnesota and Colorado, it was always going to be tough for them. But I felt like they would at least be in the race, especially taking advantage of Colorado's injuries and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. I don't expect them to even
Yeah.
be in a wild card
Nah, neither do I.
fight
I expect them
at
to do
this point.
some big trades. I actually reckon Ryan O'Reilly will be on the way up. Um, and then they'll probably move in some other type of center or something like that. But that's the type of trade
Well,
I'm expecting from them.
I don't know. Do you make the call? Because at the end of the day, Tarasenko is in the last year of his contract as well. So do you make a call now and go, do you know what? We're not gonna make a shape for it this year. Um, I just don't think we can. And so you get what you can for Ryan O'Reilly, you get what you can for Vladimir Tarasenko. Um, you get what you can for, I mean, Barbashev, which I don't think you get much for, but you just get what you can for those players, and you start the rebuild. I,
Yeah.
I just,
No, I don't think
I
they
don't
need to
know.
go full rebuild. I think they've got some players around that team. Um, but I think you need to get
Yeah,
some assets from those players you just talked about, and then spice
yeah.
it up because I don't think it takes too much to get them back in it. It's just I think that
No, they're
they need the change
some good
face. That's the thing.
players. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I mean, Rob Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, very good. They got
Mm.
Buchnevich, so they've got forwards there in reasonably good age brackets. But and even their defense, the defense is all 29, 30 years old. Like they have the team there. I just, yeah, I just don't think you want to lose Ryan O'Reilly and Vladimir Tarasenko for nothing.
Yeah,
I think you
I
have to
agree.
get something for them,
Uh,
especially when you're not going to compete this year.
Alrighty. My pick 22, a team dropping off the face of the earth. I got the Detroit Red Wings.
Ooh, do you know what? Fair call. That's a massive drop for you.
Yep.
Um, they don't drop that far for me, but they're T20 for me. But wow, you made a big call this week.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big, but I think it's the midfield's that tight as well. Um, but it's just the teams that were below them are going on runs now, and they're just going on the opposite run. 2-6-2 in the last 10, uh, 3 game
They lost
losing
the last
streak.
five.
Um, yeah, and then -9 goal differential. It's not good when you had that yo-yo team win lose, but now they're on a losing streak, and I don't know if they have it in it to pull in big winning streaks. So yeah, that's where I got them for now. Big
Yeah, they've
negative
been
10 drop.
yo-yo. They've been a yo-yo team all year. It's not good for them though.
Yeah,
They need to pull this back quickly, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough for them, man. They're in the East.
yeah.
They've got that
Wait,
abundance of talent ahead of them that they've got to compete with for a playoff spot.
yeah.
Um,
I don't think this is the run they could afford. Like, granted, they had a
mm,
hard week. Carolina, Wild, and it was the Ottawa Senators. So and all those teams are on the up. So hard week. I get it, but you've got to compete and get some points out of those games and other games beforehand if you want to be in the top 16.
yeah, yeah. My biggest concern for them is their UFA status. To be honest, they've obviously got Dylan Larkin's contract coming up, and then they've got three or four others. Not massive ones like Larkin, but enough players to sort of, if they lose them, and they replace them with youngsters coming up. I mean, you got Tyler Bertuzzi as well. His contract's coming up. So I think there's definitely some questions to be asked by Detroit management. Where do you think this team's going? Do you think that we can compete for a wild card spot this year? Um, and if those players like Larkin and Bertuzzi and the rest of them aren't going to sign, do you have those difficult conversations where you tell them you're sellers at the deadline, even
Yeah,
if you're close to being that wild card spot.
I think they'll sort
You,
something out. Well, I think they should be somewhat alright, but Detroit's also a city that I personally wouldn't want to live in. So it it depends how attractive that hockey market is there for the players. I
yeah,
would say. Mm, already.
and Yzerman. I mean, Yzerman's a big pull.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
the thing. That just like, do you weigh that up and like, okay, this could be a good area, or just like, well,
mm,
there's greener pastures elsewhere.
yeah, exactly.
Already. You're
All
21.
right, P21. These guys don't move for me. They had a pretty even week. Um, Los Angeles Kings. It's strange seeing them at
Yeah.
11th in the standings,
Yeah,
but
I got them at
yeah,
19 still. They don't move for me, but I'm just a little bit higher on them than you, I guess. Even though I'm not high on their gameplay. It's kind of like Detroit, really.
I feel like the standings are just that they mess with my head a little bit with this one because I feel like you're 19, 20, 21 where I've got them. I feel like that's where they are. That's where
Yeah,
they
yeah,
deserve to be.
yep.
But seeing them at 11th in the standings, I know they've played more games. It messes with my head a little bit where it's like, oh, am I being a bit harsh? But then I see that -10 goal difference.
Mm.
Yeah, probably not. And then I watch them play hockey and I'm like, yeah, definitely not. I think 21's pretty accurate or,
Yeah,
around
I
this
think
mark
they're
is
like
pretty accurate.
15th or something in point percentage. If you want to count their games because they've definitely played the most amount of games. Um, so, but I can't have them at 15 on my top 16 just for what I see of what's happening on the ice. So that's why I've got to have them down as where I do.
Agreed, definitely.
Alrighty, 20 for me. I have a team that's gonna rise a little bit. It's the Ottawa Senators.
Ooh, Senators. All right. Yep. Mine's I think one position above that.
Yep.
So
No, I don't
both
hate
had
that. Um,
similar ideas.
yeah, both St. Louis and Ottawa moved together for me this week,
Yeah.
and I could easily have Ottawa above LA, but I just think LA, they've just slowly crept those wins, even though they played bad, and so they're a little bit way better in the standings. I think what 4 games
Mhm.
extra played, but 9 extra points. But it is that goal differential. It's you know
It's a
Ottawa has
killer.
Ottawa's +1, so positive or just equal, and then you got -10 for LA. So I was flip flopping to where to put them, 19 or 20. So I completely see where you're on 19. And they go +6 for you.
Yeah, yeah. They've been on a tear, 7-2-1 in the last 10. They've got a last 10 record that's probably top 5 in the league.
Yeah, I can search for that
So
right now if you want. I think it's about 8 or equal 8. Yep. So
equal 8.
number
Yeah,
6
so
equal
yeah,
equal 6. Yep.
top equal 6. Yeah, so that's. I mean, we've said it for so long. They didn't deserve to be as low as they are. They're a better team than that. It's just they couldn't get the results. And now they're finally getting the results. So yeah, it's good to see. I'm
Yeah.
glad. I yeah, I've
Uh,
been high on these guys.
yeah. So and they haven't changed anything on the ice. It looks exactly the same. It's just they're getting the result. it's it's
Yeah,
funny. It's funny.
exactly.
It's funny how it works.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Your pick.
All right, my pick is um interesting one. Yeah, I just they don't move for me. They had I don't know, a weird week. Like they went 2-2, the Florida Panthers, but I don't know. I felt like they didn't have that good of a week, but
Mm,
they beat. Obviously, they beat the Devils today, and we can touch on that a little bit. But they lose pretty convincingly to Seattle.
yeah.
They shut out Columbus, but it's Columbus. They lose to Pittsburgh, and then yeah, they win today. But I don't know. I still don't. I still just don't think it's there for them. I don't know what to make of Florida. Um, I didn't take anything out of today's game from them. I didn't think they were the better team. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
still.
Like I could easily have them 18 as well. I flip flopped between my 18 and 17 for a long time.
Mhm.
Because I was not really high on the Florida. After today and seeing how they played, I thought it was pretty disgusting. I hated it. It's not a game that should be played, and honestly, refs should be controlling the game better. Doing illegal cross checks and slashing and whatnot after the whistle's blown, and well after the whistle's blown. You're talking 3-5 seconds after. Um, it's honestly disgusting. This one of the players slash he should before the second period started, where they're just doing that pre-ice skate. It's yeah, no, they don't deserve that win. Honestly, I think there was about 10 penalties in that game, and New Jersey only got 3. A couple of players touched on it, but in the NHL, you're not allowed to bag the refs at all, and that's why I couldn't move them up. Like you said, they've been iffy, and they're just sitting at that top 8, top 16, and it's kind of been where they're at all season. They have the team to move up. They definitely do, but not if they play the way they did. And I understand Barkov got injured, but they acted like Heisha meant it, and it's Heisha, and
Yeah.
like
Well,
it's like the softest guy in the league. Like,
it's actually like you watch the replay, and it's him trying to win the face off, and he loses balance, and he goes down,
yeah, he falls
and he
forward.
clips his
Yeah,
knee.
yeah,
And it's a shame, and it's your captain, and yes, you want them to respond, but you want them to respond in a hockey sense. Go out there and put on some big hits.
nah. Well, they responded
Do the
legally.
right thing. But they did. They comes out, slashes him before the play even starts, and then every chance they get, they're trying to line him up, put on dog shots after the whistle's blown or after the puck's
Yeah,
exited the zone, and the refs did nothing, and that's what I hate about it.
nah, that's
When
exactly right.
this sort of thing happens, if the referees respond early, they avoid further situation. They avoid it getting ugly, because if you punish for that bad play initially, it stops that bad play continuing. But when you allow it, you're telling the team, yeah, we're fine with whatever you do what you want. And that's what they did. Like, yeah, it was an ugly game. And
Nah,
I put
it,
that a
I
lot
mean,
on the refs.
yeah, nah, it's a refs game. I honestly want to throw. Oh, well, let's do it. Let's just put refs here at 33. They've been horrible all season. Never been in the top 32. They have, and it's
No,
nah, it's disgusting.
no, definitely
I'm
not.
I'm getting quite
It's
fed up with the refereeing. McDavid's offside goal. We can touch on that when we get to Edmonton. It's just yeah, the refereeing's ridiculous, and
it's
it needs
terrible, and
investigating.
people are confused. People are confused. Like
Even commentators
today,
confused. You
the Ryan Reeves shot the other day. He hits him in the head. He basically lays the bloke out, and everyone's like, "Oh, a big hit, massive." He's hit him in the head. It's a
yeah,
penalty, and
sa-
the refs
yeah.
missed it completely.
Same with the
And it
Moswood.
happened to yeah, the Marswood incident was the same thing. Yep, it's great. You want to see those big hits, but when they get them wrong, you punish them. That's what the rules are there for. So yeah, they need to ref the game properly. I'm sick and tired of seeing dainty little touches of the gloves where it brushes the gloves, it does no damage, there's no issues, and it's a slashing penalty. But then someone lays someone out illegally, even though they didn't intend to lay them out or get them high. It happened. It's a penalty.
Mm.
Call it. Like you're not
No,
keeping the
yeah.
game
Not
tough
not only
by
that
not
is
calling that.
not only that is like the Mars Wood one. The play's dead.
Mhm,
They had a chance to review it after that. Like, oh, did we do the right call? What happened? And they don't do it.
mhm.
And that's my
Yeah,
big issue. But I think we should move on because I could ramble on and on and on and on and on. And just on
that's
that,
fair.
refs have moved down to 34 while we spoke. There we go.
Alright. Alright, pick 18. Let's go.
Um, it's my pick, is it? Yes, it is.
It is,
Alrighty.
yep.
So there's a team I could have had above Florida easily. It's the Buffalo. The
Yeah,
the
I have
Buffs.
them above.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I have them above.
I teetered it for so long, and not too sure why I haven't honestly. But yeah, it's where I have them for now. Easily could have them at 17. They're on a run. They're just outside the top 16 for me and you.
Mhm.
+5, +4. Like we said, they've been playing good hockey. Just haven't been getting those results consistently. But then 6-0 win against Kings, 4-2 against Colorado. Then they beat the Coyotes like you should. It's all looking good.
Yeah, yeah, they're putting in some big performances, man, and, apart from the back-to-back losses against Pittsburgh the week before, they had a pretty solid week. They destroyed San Jose, destroyed Columbus, and then they come into this week, destroy the Kings. They beat Colorado, and they get the job done against Arizona. So they're doing what they need to do, and that's all you can ask from them right now because they are a young side. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, all right, moving on.
Top
Yeah, we're
16.
into the top 16 now. So, okay. Um, Moving down a bit and kind of wanted to move down to the 16, but I didn't feel like Buffalo have quite done enough to move into the 16.
Yep.
So
I
they get
agree.
saved for a week. Um, but it's the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep. I agree.
We'll touch on as well. I did give them a little bit of leeway because they went 1-3 this week, but they technically should have been 2-2. Um,
Because
that's
of the offside that we just talked about.
oh my god! Like I originally didn't see that. I didn't see the game, and obviously you sent the replay through. I watched the replay and then got to that final. Oh my god! I'm sorry, but like they brought that rule in for that exact situation. Like he couldn't be any more in control of that puck going over the line. He's got possession clearly, and as the puck's over the line with McDavid, Ryan O'Reilly dick checks his stick and he loses possession. I don't understand how you go, oh no, he didn't control that.
Yeah.
He had possession. He controlled it. You don't even need to have possession. Like that's the ruling. You just need to be deemed in control. How you can deem him not in control of that is beyond me. They should have had that goal, should have had that win. They should have had that extra point.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
kind
hundred
of
percent.
gave them a bit of leeway.
That's why I
So
definitely
yeah,
couldn't move him out of the top 16. Uh, quick, easy fix for the offside rule is just to make it. There's no such thing as the control rule, and it's just your skate
yeah,
has to be on or behind the blue line. Simple as that.
yeah. The rule hasn't even been around that long, man. So
Yeah,
just
but you
if you
can
don't
tell it's stupid because it takes interpretation into it and judgment by the ref instead of
exactly
just a flat law. So
if you're gonna get that wrong, but the easiest call in that situation wrong, just make it a normal offside. Simple as that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
just
All right.
your skate has to be behind. Done, easy.
Simple as that.
Alrighty, number
All right.
15 for me, a team dropping off a little bit. Got the New York Islanders.
No way. That's epic. That is great. I thought I was being real harsh, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I
But
debated with myself. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? It doesn't feel right. But yeah, I'm glad I've got some confirmation from you as well that it wasn't too bad of an
yeah.
idea.
No,
um,
no, they've been struggling, man.
mm,
Real struggling.
like what threw it in the air was like they got the shootout loss against Boston. You know, you taking a Boston that's they throw it in there, but then you just go and throw it in the bin with the Arizona game. So it yeah, and then they go beat Vegas. But I don't feel like they outplayed Vegas. That was my issue with them. I think they're getting some somewhat lucky goals in regards to. I think it was the Vegas game. Like three of their goals. No, it was Arizona game. I think three of their goals were just point shots, just completely lucky to go in. One
Go in.
bad,
Yeah.
horrible save by the goalie. Like you have it every day of the week, and the fact it goes in, you're like, oh, okay, that's horrible. The other ones were just completely lucky. So that's what worried me as well. Is they're not getting those, weren't getting as many goals from down low. They're getting it from up high.
Yeah, they just yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them at the moment. They've fallen off a little bit, but they're a good side. I think they can turn it around. They've got a pretty tough schedule going forward. I think Colorado, New York Rangers, Florida, Pittsburgh are their next four. So yeah, it's going to be a big test for them because they're either going to sink or swim
Yep.
before Christmas. So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see what they
and
do.
it's a tough division to swimming in at the moment with Rangers and Capitals
Big time.
obviously being above them in the standings in our rankings at the moment. So yeah, they got to swim if they want to make the playoffs. Anyway, on to your pick.
Yeah, 100%. All right, pick 14. Could have put them up a lot higher than this. They have been just phenomenal lately. Getting their players back, which has obviously helped a lot. But yeah, we said it last. I think I said it last week that the coming week was going to be tough for them. Well, apparently it wasn't so tough for them because they did really well. It's the Washington Capitals.
All right, that's where I've got them as well. It's looking good.
Yeah.
Looks like I was a bit higher on them last week than you were, but like you said, they're meeting the challenge, and this is what I talked about earlier in the year. Because of their injuries, I knew they were going to come flying back later in the season. I didn't expect it this early. I thought it maybe it was like a week or two later they'd start doing that fly. And if you're Rangers, Islanders, or anything, I think you got to worry about your playoff spot. Really, you're going to have six teams vying for that
Oh,
in
big
the
time.
Metro. You know, minimum of one of them gets knocked loses. So yeah, and it's looking like Capitals are a sure thing at the moment with the way they're playing.
Well, I mean, it's crazy to think they're not so they're not even in the wild card spot. Don't get me wrong, they're ninth, so they're just outside of the wild card spot. But yeah, like your New York Islanders, Rangers, Pittsburgh, Carolina, and even the Devils, you're sitting there going, crap. if
Mhm.
if we don't win games, these teams are coming for us. Um,
Yeah,
so
and
yeah, and
they're coming strong,
Washington,
and it's good to see
they're coming very
Ove-
strong.
Ovechkin going for those titles. He's doing it, so yeah, we might see some big records broken in our lifetime with Wayne
That's
Gretzky's
gonna be crazy.
records. So it's crazy to think.
Like if he doesn't break it, it's because he gets in.
injured or
I'm just
something.
gonna say that.
Yeah.
Oh, he has to. Like he's already what? He's got 93 goals left to get or something like that,
Mm.
and
And he could play like
he's
Yager to
still
50 just to break
oh,
it.
exactly. I mean, he's still got 3 years. What are we? 30 games into the season. He's got 3 years left after this season. So even if you just went 3 years now, he needs 31 goals a year. He's still got the whole of this year to go, and he already has 20 goals on the season.
Yep.
So he's most likely getting 40 plus. So by next season, he's only got 70 goals to get over 3 seasons. I don't see him slowing down enough for him to not get that record.
Yep. I agree. Alrighty, on to
All right.
number 13. I have team just dropping off a bit. It's the Seattle Kraken.
Ooh. I have them like I almost dropped them to 13. I've got them at 12, but they're definitely dropping. They've definitely slipped a bit
Yeah,
in the last couple of weeks.
I feel like they're struggling to play the game that was put them on those massive win streak, and they're just not like their game was keep the team around 25 goals or less, really between 20 and 20 shots. Sorry, not goals. That'd be horrible. Um, so yeah, 20
If
to
you
20,
imagine,
and they're still winning games. My God. Yeah, 20 to 25 shots a game, and they've just been letting big number shots recently, and they're losing those games because they're letting it. And I don't think they're playing the same perfect style they were. It's hard to, I get it, um, but we'll see if they can get back to it or if this is just a slip and slide.
yeah, I mean, one win in their last six. But they've played some tough teams in that stretch as well. Carolina, Tampa, Washington, Florida twice. So um, it's tough, and they're on a tough run. But yeah, if you want to be a playoff team, like obviously they're in that position too at the moment, you've got to try and take a few extra points in these tough stretches. Hopefully they can bounce back because I hope they're not just that we started the season off well and then we just completely plummeted.
Mm.
I'd love to see them in a playoff spot this year. I think it'd be
Yeah,
great for their franchise.
yeah, I
But yeah,
definitely view them different than the Vegas, the other expansion team. Um, I've just got more love for him, I guess. Alrighty.
yeah, 100%. All right, PV13. Feel like I've not given them enough love. Um, Given the results they're getting with such a depleted side, but it's Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, really? I got them in my top 10 at position 12
Ooh,
because I'm kidding.
I was like, top
Gotcha.
10. Jesus, that's a
Gotcha.
big call. I was
Nah.
like, man, what have you done with the Rangers in the wild if you've got them top 10?
It's like you did so good, Jaden, and then you just flopped it. Yeah.
Oh, look, they got some really good wins, man. That's really all you can ask for them at the moment is just do as much as you can whilst the team's depleted.
Mm. Yeah. They're setting themselves up for another run for the cup. If when they do get players back, they all stay healthy. But they're setting themselves up for a good playoff position. And that's all you can
Hmm.
ask for when you have such a depleted team. You look at how other depleted teams have played at the start of the season, so it's kind of a miracle what they're doing, and it just shows the depth
Yeah,
they've
big
got.
time.
So you gotta love what you see if you're a Colorado fan.
So you just need to stay in the hunt. That's really all you need to do. And once your players are back, it'll do it all from there. All
Alrighty,
right,
a team just
pick
outside the
11.
top 10. First team outside the top 10. Moving up, I got the New York Rangers.
Oh,
Yep, +5.
yeah, no. So they're in my top 10.
And
I went with them
you made a
over the other
mistake.
ones.
You've made a mistake. you,
Potentially.
you're
I
clear.
was
You're
I was
clearly
high on
higher.
them last
Yeah,
week.
you're much
Yeah.
higher than last week. Uh,
Yeah, I do like what I'm seeing from the Rangers. I think, they're starting to click.
yeah.
And yeah.
It's yeah. Like they don't really deserve the win against the Devils. I don't feel like, but it was a good win against Toronto, and then they beat Philly. It's what you need to do, especially, and they're beating division rival teams with what's going to be like such a close race. It's definitely good, and beating Toronto and Devils in the same week, I can understand why they're in the top 10. But I just wasn't as high on them last week, and I just think I'm higher on another team that is in my top 10.
Yeah, I kind of I feel like my top 11 probably, my 11 team could have been in the top 10, 100%.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I'm not surprised I did teeter on the two of them, but my 11 team was below the Rangers for me last week. Um, so yeah, whereas I think it's the other way around for you, so I do understand
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's
where you're coming from.
basically it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So on to your number 11. Might start of my top
All
10.
right. Number 11, I'm thinking this will be your top 10, but it's the Minnesota Wild.
I was basically just filling it in already.
Yeah, yeah, it had to be. And I mean, geez, we said it at the start of the year. What are they doing at, P23 or whatever it was? But yeah, they're on a tear at the moment. I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Nah, they've just looked really good. Like they look good for a lot of the season, honestly, even when they're playing bad, with Kaprizov and Zuccarello and whatnot. Like they've just got so much skill there, and they can fire on the power play and whatnot. But it's good to see him back up to where that you probably had him at the start of the season. And
Mhm.
I don't think they slide back down. Honestly, I think this is the real Wild, the one we'll probably see for the rest of the season. So hopefully
Agreed.
they can maintain that.
Agreed. I definitely feel like they'll be around this top 10 mark for the rest of the season for sure.
Mm. Alrighty, my P9. This is an interesting one. Dropping off just a little bit, I got the Vegas Golden Knights.
Mm.
Yep.
I'm yeah, I don't have them at 9, but I definitely see your point though.
Yeah, you got them
Definitely
at
drop
8.
them
So
there.
yeah, they just drop off. It's I just don't think they're playing as strong hockey as they were. It's well, they go two out of 4, lose to the Bruins, and then they lose to the Islanders today. Their wins,
And their
Chicago,
win was against Chicago.
yeah, and Chicago, and then a very high scoring 6-5 game against the Jets. And that's a good win, but it's a high scoring game, which probably means you're leaking. And yeah, I'm not fully sold on them. I think the other teams above them are just hitting their stride right now, and
A lot
that,
stronger.
that's
Yeah.
that's why I've got them down at 9.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a bit worried about them going forward. They've sort of come out of their tough stretch. But they kind of did what I expected during the tougher stretch. Um, Losing several games against key teams like the Rangers, Pittsburgh, Boston, Islanders. Um, so yeah, we'll see if they can pull it back. I definitely think they'll be playoffs. I think that's pretty much a lock at this point. I just wonder how big of a contender are they going to be? I think in the West they're always going to be a high contender, given the division they play in as well. But um, you know, how deep can they go, and how potent can they be is still to be answered. I think.
Yep, I agree.
All right, number 9 for me. I don't really know. Like they had an even week this week. I kind of wanted to keep them in the position I had them last week, but I haven't dropped them in a position. And it's the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, that's I got them 8. Just
Yeah,
going down one position.
yeah. I don't know. Like they just it wasn't a bad week. Wasn't a good week. Like you know they lose to the
Well,
Pens,
I,
which
I
really
think
could have
it's a
gone either way.
I think it's a good week considering who they come up against. The top
Yeah,
teams in the
four tough teams.
top teams in the Metro that we've only spoken about the Capitals. So Pittsburgh, New Jersey, Capitals, and Carolina. That was their lineup. That's a tough week, and they come out with some hefty points, which
Come out
is
2-1-1.
yeah, 5 out of 8 points. It's pretty good.
in all 4 games as well. So yeah, it's not a bad week. Could have been better. But yeah. So I don't think they're dropping a positions on them. I think it's more the
Oh no,
teams around them of
it's
what
teams
they did.
leapfrogging them. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that.
100%. All
Alrighty,
right.
so my position 7, I have the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I've got the Jets at 7. They dropped 3 positions for both of us, which is interesting because I don't think that's off the back of anything really poor from them
Nah,
either. Uh,
it's not. It's they lose the Caps, they lose the Vegas, hard teams. The OT win, they go to OT with Nashville, but they get the win, and they outplayed them, and then they destroy Vancouver today. So on the scoreboard, you, yeah, it's not nothing on them. Basically, that's
yeah,
all I can say.
yeah.
It's just other
I
teams
still think
leapfrogging.
you've got to be high on them. Yeah,
No,
I think they're a very good team.
I think the
They're going to be tough.
top 8 9 are very close. Besides Boston, I think
Yeah,
Boston's in their
100%.
own league.
Yeah, which I think just basically sums up that spot. But yeah, nah. Look, I think Winnipeg. The big thing for me with Winnipeg is Hellebuyck. I think he's just a player that if they do make um, which couldn't see them dropping out of playoffs. I think they're going to have a top 3 spot sewn up. But um, as long as they make those playoffs, he can carry them through series. So yeah, they're going to be dangerous if they can stay healthy. But
Yeah,
all right, moving on to pick 6 for me. I'm dropping a fair way. I don't know if you've made the same drop, but yeah, 5 straight losses. Arguably, they have been the better team in most of those games. But yeah, 5 straight losses. I had to move them down a little bit. It's the New Jersey Devils.
yeah, I've got him at number 5 at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, it was tough. I teeted on whether to kick him out of the top 5 or not. But yeah, I don't think they've been poor in these games either. Like I said, I think probably 4 of the 5 games they've been the better team. Um, they just haven't got the results.
Yeah, well, it's hard.
So
It's hard
yeah,
when you have refing like you do in the Florida game. They kind of got it in. I forget. I think it was the Rangers game. I can't remember which game it was. In the last five
oh
games.
they had a yeah they had a poor game. I think a couple bad calls
Yeah,
against the Islanders, but that
yeah,
wasn't
Islanders.
really that was the Islanders capitalizing on their chances rather
Yeah.
than the refing.
No,
But
I just think
yeah,
they've been pretty unlucky with the refing calls because I haven't seen a game where New Jersey would be like, oh, they're getting some good calls from the refs. It's always the other way around. But they're definitely on the slide, but they're not on the slide on the ice. They're kind of playing as that top 10 team, definitely not that top like 1 2 3 team that they were playing at with that big streak. And
I think teams have sort of figured them out a little bit. They're still dominating them. They're just learning how to
yeah, well, they're just playing physical against them, and that's it.
exactly.
And I think New Jersey are playing too much into that. The kids, you got to learn, just forget it and play your game. But
Definitely. I think they miss a bit of physicality from Nate Bastian, and obviously they've got Andre Palat to come back as well. So um, yeah, I don't think there's any reason to jump off the train. That's for sure. I think this was always bound to happen. We're going to come back to earth a little bit. And let's just hope. And I think it's going to be a test to the team and to the maturity levels of these young players of how they bounce back from this. Um, do they let it ride for another 5 games? Because it could. They've got 5 really tough opponents in the next 5 games. Or do they pull it back together
yeah,
and get back on track?
alrighty. At my position number 6, a team that's been flying, I have the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
So
think we
my
just sort of switched
yeah,
our 5s and 6s around.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
hate it. I just think because of how strong New Jersey's start to the season was and how poor Pittsburgh's was, it's kind of that's why. And
yeah.
but it's very close now. They're they're in it. It's crazy to think I had them winning the Stanley Cup and then they were down at position 26 or something like that. Um,
It was,
and now
yeah,
and
it
now
was
they're
a
back in
big switch.
they're back in the top five for you. So I think they're back where they should be, where they belong to
I think
be.
they're 12-1-1 in their last 14 or something like that. So,
Yeah,
yeah, they've definitely turned it on.
they're tearing. I think they're probably one of the hardest teams to play against right now. Besides probably Boston, I'd say it's probably Pittsburgh. Honestly.
Yeah. No, it's good to see a little bit of a last hurrah sort of paying off for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I really do think if Crosby can pull another Stanley Cup um, for this side, it's just gonna sure, it's gonna boost his goat conversations through the roof because yeah,
I think
that
he's the
that that
goat.
man's a unit.
I think he is the goat. I don't know. It's just me. Different eras
There's always
and
going to be
whatnot.
arguments and different eras, but yeah, for me, I've I don't understand the hate towards him. I love watching him play. It's the same as Ovechkin. Um, my qualms with Ovechkin is probably more his contract that he signed rather than the way he plays. I just love watching good players play hockey, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty
And I
simple.
think you should because they're two players of our era that have just dominated for years. They have 4 cups between them. Just enjoy watching them whilst you can because they're not going to be around much longer. The only time you're going to be able to watch them is on highlights.
No.
So
Well,
enjoy it while
everyone's
you
on the
can.
Connor McDavid bandwagon. That's the thing.
Yeah,
All
call
right.
me when he wins the cup.
All right. Pick number 4 for you.
All right, pick number 4. Um, I kind of slept on these guys a little bit until I realized. I think you pointed it out, and I realized how well they'd been playing. Um, it's the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah,
I think they're 8-0-1 in their last 9 games. It's after going on a losing streak.
I still have them at number 2. I flipped them between
Whoa.
2 and 4, I think it was, and I was basically
Yeah,
shuffling 2 and 4. And I just
easy.
I fell on Hurricanes. I'm a little bit higher on them.
Mm,
I think they got the more consistent team. The
yeah.
other two teams we're going to be talking about, uh, I believe they're kind of in the same category. It's just they've gone under the radar. I think, like you
Oh,
said,
definitely.
I think they're slightly going under the radar, and they're just pulling those wins. They're not putting up high goals games, I think, and that's probably one of the reasons. But they're just edging a win here and there, and that's go 3-0 this week, beat some quality teams, Kraken and Dallas, and a team on the slide in Detroit. So yeah, I'm high on them.
Yeah, yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, they're plus 10, which is crazy for a team that's sitting fifth in the
Yeah,
standings. But
but they're just not scoring
um,
like a lot of goals. That's the weird
yeah,
thing.
and they're not conceding a lot of goals either, which
Mm.
is helpful.
And that's the scary thing. They
Um,
got players like Svechnikov that could just who have been playing great,
they
but
can score.
yeah.
Few people have said, is that the downfall of Carolina that they don't allow their players to play a much more attacking style of hockey? But hey, they're fifth in the standings. They're doing a lot of things right. They're on a good winning streak right now. So yeah, credit
Mm.
to them.
Alrighty.
All
Uh,
right,
on
pick
to
4.
onto my pick at pick number 4. I have team just dropping one, Toronto Maple Leafs.
That's fair. They had a pretty poor week to be honest. I did teeter with swapping them and Carolina to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I just had to do it because there are two losses against the Rangers and the Capitals. I felt like I feel like they needed to win one of those to stay in the top three, and they destroyed the Ducks. But it's the Ducks.
It's the Ducks. Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say
it's yeah. So
it's the
the
Ducks on the back to back as well, mind you.
yeah.
Like,
So yeah, that's why I pushed them out, just because the other teams are playing better around them. It's pretty simple.
yeah, that's fair. I agree with you. I think yeah, they got the job done against Anaheim. You can't say anything about that. They won 7-0. They destroyed them, but they lose to the Rangers, who, yep, they've been playing well. They lose to Washington, who, yep, have been playing well. But if you want to be in the, top three, top five, or pushing for that top spot, I feel like you've got to win those games or win one of those games. Um, I kept them there for now. I just want to see what they do and how they bounce back. But um, yeah, it's starting to get really tough in these top 10, because each of these teams are playing really really good hockey at the moment.
Mm,
Um,
yep.
and it's even stretching outside of the top 10 now.
Yeah.
So no, it's good.
No, it's good for the game.
Um,
And
yeah,
yeah,
100%.
on to the last
All
two.
right. My pick two. I mean, I don't think anyone's expecting me to say Boston here, so I'll just go straight out and say it's the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yep, I got them at number 3.
They've been on a tear. Um, it's crazy to think that they're gonna be potentially competing for another Stanley Cup this year. I truly I knew they could bounce back, and I knew they would be a playoff team and all the rest of it, but to be playing this well again, um, is just insane. Their franchise is just incredible. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
the coach. A lot's on the coach as well. Um, that
good system, good structure.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's just been doing it over the years, and it's surprising that they're still up here with how they've had to lose the players year after year. Uh,
Yeah. Well, that's
it's,
it. That's the thing.
but
How do you stay that
yeah,
good for that long, losing the players that they
yeah, you just ride the wagon at this point. If you're a Tampa fan, like,
have?
hey, we won cups, we don't really care, but oh my god, we're going again. All right.
Oh,
So
exactly. I mean, imagine if they make a fourth Stanley Cup. At this point, it doesn't even matter if they win it. Like
mm,
they make four Stanley Cups in a row. That's incredible. Even if they make a stretch run to the Eastern Conference Finals, that's an amazing
yeah,
feature. To
it's
play that much hockey over a 4-year period is just phenomenal.
well, it's phenomenal to score the core that they got. So Kucherov, Stamkos, Point. You got Victor Hedman, and then you got Vasilevsky, and I'm probably
Mhm.
missing someone. Um, but that's a huge core. That's huge,
Mhm.
and they're on cheaper deals than like a core like the Leafs, and they're
Mhm.
arguably better. So
Well, I don't even think it's an argument
I don't
just
think
for
I think Victor
price.
Hedman
Like,
kicks that over just like that because of how good he is as a
well,
defender. So
but that's but
it's
that's it. Like, I don't, they've won cups,
mm,
so you can turn around and say that, oh, uh, McDavid, Draisaitl are better than them. Um, Tavares, Mana, and Matthews are better than them. Well, where's their 2 rings?
mhm,
They don't have 'em. And that's sort of what team-friendly deals do. Like Steven Stamkos on 8.5 mil, phenomenal. Kucherov, Point, both of them probably could have taken 11, $12 million contracts like the rest of a lot of these forwards are
the greedy
doing these
people.
days.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah, but they didn't. They took those team-friendly deals. Victor Hedman's on a $7.8 million deal. Like,
yeah, which is
how good is that deal?
that's ridiculous.
Sergachev 8.5. He, you know, he could have probably with some of the deals going out, he could have taken a $10 million deal,
Yeah.
but he didn't. Vasilevsky, seeing Bobrovsky get fucking 10.5 or whatever it was, he could have been like, mate, if he's getting 10.5, I'm taking 12 mil. He took a $9.5 million contract. Like, yeah, I feel like that's what gets it done. That's what impressed me about team we're going to talk about in a minute. Boston as well over the years is, that's how you stay relevant with your team friendly contracts and all getting buy-in from all of your players. Like, you're all valued. It's not just one or two of you.
Well, I guess we can fill it in now. On to Boston at number 1.
Yeah, we may as well. Doesn't
League,
change for me again.
yeah, league of their own,
Jesus,
and
100%.
it's just honestly crazy at this point.
Yeah.
and plus 50 in goal differential. They're scoring a ton of goals, but they're not letting goals in, and not letting goals in is the big point. And they're the best in it. 66. The next highest is New Jersey and Winnipeg at 77, and that's just insane. It's down to just how they're playing defensively, and like you said, you when you take team friendly contracts, you can afford an extra player or two, and that's what helps you get it done. They can afford a Taylor Hall, they can afford, whatever gets it done, and that's what they're
Well,
doing.
that's it, right? I mean, a lot of people give hate towards Taylor Hall, but my God, like to have a player like Taylor Hall on $6 million a year on your third line, scoring the way he's scoring, like it's just that is why they're so good because you go onto their team and their highest contracted player is Charlie McAvoy with 9.5. You look at their forwards, Pasternak 6.6, Marchand 6.1, Hall 6 million, Coyle 5.2, DeBrusque 4 mil, Patrice Bergeron
Mm,
2.5 mil, Zaka 3.5, Feligno 3.8. Like it's just it's an interesting structure and the buy-in that they've done. Hampus Lindholm 6.5. There's no big contract there, but what that gives them is the ability to hold on and maintain more of those, fringe or top six, but not quite your first line forwards
yeah,
or players. Um,
yeah. Just one
Instead
small
of having to
correction:
lose
Taylor
them.
Hall's been playing the second line, and the
Oh, he
first.
has been playing on the
Yeah,
second line?
yeah. A lot of time is I believe along Jake DePrusk. Um, I believe. Yeah, it's kind of like Jake DePrusk. Sometimes with Pasternak, um, flipping between Krejci and whatnot. Like they somewhat
Mm,
changed the lines, but he's kind of been that
yeah,
second liner, I believe, and
yeah. I mean, I
he's
guess
he's
the
playing he's
point
playing
is
good. That's the other thing.
Taylor Hall on your second or your third line playing the way he's playing. Like the reason they're able to do this is because of how they structure their
It's
contracts.
it's amazing
The
people had him
worry
out of the
I
top
have,
16 at the start of the
yeah,
season.
I didn't get that. Like I didn't think they'd be doing this, but to have them out of your top 16 is just yeah, stupid,
Mm,
criminal.
yeah,
But
absolute
nah,
criminal.
it's good. I don't know when it's going to end and if it's going to end, but
Yeah,
they well and truly could make a cup run.
yeah. I guess the question is, if you're a Boston fan, is do you want them to end it just so you don't get the President's Trophy and don't get that curse? I guess that's
Yeah,
that's the only thing. Um,
just fall off a little bit and
yeah,
let someone else take it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But no, I'm happy with
sure.
my rankings. I should probably have Buffalo above Florida. That's about it. And because I cheated on that constantly, but that's about
Yeah.
yeah. I'm happy with it. I guess a lot of people watching might not be happy with it, just for the sense that there was a couple big moves this week, Detroit and Nashville for me, and
Yeah.
Islanders a little one for you, Nashville, and Detroit only moved four, but you went as high on them.
Yeah. No, look, honestly, I don't think there'd be too many disagreements. I mean, people have their opinions, but I feel like each move's pretty valid, pretty justifiable. But yeah, I mean, again, guys, if you wanna leave us your rankings down below, tell us what you think of our rankings. Have a bit of a comparison because it'd be great to see. Good to see where you guys think we would go wrong, where you think we go right. Um, sort of, yeah, work
Yeah,
it out from there.
yeah. Give a shout out,
Um,
like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week for another Power Rankings. Catch you guys.
Take care, guys. Bye.